Hello boys and girls, Ms. Oates here from Gulfport School District. Today we're going to be going over images in a nonfiction text. We're going to be talking about the difference between a photograph and an illustration. We're also going to be talking about how images or diagrams support what the author is saying and how you can actually learn a lot from the image. So let's go ahead and get started.
So let's go ahead and get started on talking about images in a nonfiction text. Well, first off, let's talk about what an image is. An image is the pictures or illustrations and photographs that are found in a text. So a photograph is going to be a picture of a real life thing. Basically, you could take out your phone and you could snap a picture of it. It is a real life image. So this is a photograph of a frog right here. Well, over here we have an illustration. An illustration is a drawing that somebody took a pencil, a paper, even an iPad now, and they drew out an image of a frog. So they may have based this image off of a picture of a frog that they saw, like a photograph, but this is a drawing instead of an actual photograph. So that's the difference between the two. Let's also talk about a text feature called a diagram. A diagram is a simple drawing, and it can also be a photograph that is used to explain something. So for example, right here we have the parts of a frog. We see an illustration of a frog, but what is different about this image is that they've pointed out the different parts of a frog. So right here we have the front legs, back here we have the hind legs, we have the back, and then we also have the eyes. And do you see how there's lines pointing to that particular part of the picture? That's what a diagram does. It kind of just shows you the parts and pieces of an object of some sort. So for example, if I was reading a book about trucks, I may see like a diagram of the different parts of a truck. It may point to the where the driver goes in. It might point where the engine is. It can also point out like where the wheels are and maybe like where the back of it, where the loads go, like if you're working on a construction site. But what is so important about photographs, images, illustrations, and diagrams is that they support. So when you support something, you help to explain or provide evidence for the main idea in a text. So images that the author picks out, they are picking out the specific images because they support what they're trying to say in the actual text. So let's take a look at this picture. It says right here in my caption, humans support each other all the time. And I can see in this picture, the reason why the author chose this particular picture is because you have a person grabbing someone else's hand like they're trying to lead them somewhere, like they're trying to help them out. They're trying to support them to know where they need to go. So let's go ahead and we're going to actually take a look at an actual book called Frogs from National Geographic by Elizabeth Carney. And what I love about National Geographic books is they are filled with so many images. So looking off at this title page right away, I can see that the title of this book is called Frogs. And even without knowing what this book is going to be about, this first picture is of a frog. So obviously this book is going to have something to do with frogs. Let's go ahead and take a look. Splash. Splish, splash. What is that sound? What is hopping and jumping around? What loves to swim? What loves to eat bugs? It's a frog. Can you hop like a frog? So let's look at this picture. And this is a picture of a Pacific chorus frog. So there is like a little caption that tells me the name of this frog. But what I love about this image is in our text right here, it talks about how frogs love to jump around, they love to swim, and they're asking us if we can hop like a frog. Well, what is this frog doing in this picture? If you said jumping into some water, you are correct. So what I love about this is that the picture supports what the text is saying. Awesome. Let's read this one. Frogs live all over the world. Frogs usually live in wet places. They like rivers, lakes, and ponds. But some frogs live in trees. Some even live in the desert. Frogs can be found all over the world. Wherever they live, That's their habitat. All right, so let's take a look at the images here. And what this page is talking about is the different places that frogs can live. And looking at this picture, I can see a frog. This marsh frog looks like he's living in the water. This is an Indian marsupial frog. Looks like he's living amongst some leaves, maybe a pond, because I know a pond can have a lot of leaves. But look at this, red-eyed tree frog. This is like a branch of a tree, and I have learned down here, but some frogs live in trees. And then we have the bullfrog over here, and he is covered up in sand. And I know from my schema that deserts have a lot of sand, so this picture supports this line right here where it says, some even live in the desert. All right, let's go on. Croak. Look at this frog croaking. Ooh. This frog is croaking, and how do I know? The text is going to tell me. Some frogs' throats puff up when they make sounds. Each type of frog makes its own sound. So let's take a look. We have a lake frog here, and how do I know he's croaking? His throat is puffed up, and it makes it look like a big old bubble. So again, this image is supporting what the text says right here. The croaky frog is named after the sound it makes. It sounds like croaky. This frog is the size of a quarter. Even small frogs can make loud sounds. So again, this image is showing a croaky frog, so what's actually mentioned in the text, and it's showing that it's croaking. Again, it's making its throat big and large, looking like a bubble. How awesome is that? I'm going to go ahead and kind of skip a few pages because I want to show you something. But if you're interested in reading this book, it is on Epic. So just ask your teacher to sign up and you should be able to read this book by your own account. So, let's go back and take a look at this one. It says, what's that pink flash? It's how frogs catch bugs. It shoots out its long, sticky tongue at a passing bug. The frog pulls the bug into its mouth. If your tongue were as long as a frog's, it would reach your belly button. Let's take a look at this image right here. So we have a green tree frog, and in this page we're talking about how a frog uses its tongue to catch a bug. Well, this green tree frog has its tongue sticking out and it's catching a bug. But what I love about this is they actually have a ruler, and it's telling us how long the tongue is. So let's look, like the start of the ruler is right here. It looks like that tongue is about 6 inches long, which is crazy that a frog's tongue can go out that far and catch a bug. But again, that is what the text says, and this image, this picture, this photograph supports what the author is trying to say. All right. Every size and color. Frogs can be many different sizes. The smallest frog is as big as a fingernail. The largest frog is as big as a rabbit. Again, looking at this micro frog, he is super teeny tiny. He's on the top of somebody's finger, it looks like. So again, this image is supporting that the smallest frog is as big as a fingernail. And then we have the Goliath frog over here. Now, there's not a rabbit to compare him, but you can see that this frog is massive. It looks like he's being weighed on a scale that you might see at Walmart when you're weighing produce. Look how huge he is. Again, the images are supporting what the author is saying in the text. All right. Frogs can be different colors. So we have some green and brown. So the tiger striped leaf frog, it shows it's green or brown. Others have stripes or spots. So this Amazonian poison dart frog, we could see its spots and we could see its stripes. Frogs can be red, yellow, or orange. Ooh, this red poison dart frog. Look how fiery that color is. They can also be bright blue. And again, look at this neon blue, blue poison dart frog. Again, these images are supporting what the author is saying in the text. How awesome is that? All right, so we're going to go. I wanted to show, let's take a look at this page real quick. So tadpoles grow up to be frogs. All right, so this is telling us the life cycle of a frog. But what I love about this picture, or this page in particular, is they show you the process, but they also have a photograph that goes with that process as well. So let's look at the steps. Number 1, at first they breathe underwater with gills. Well, let's take a look. This is like a little diagram because we have the label right here and it's pointing to the gills of the frog. 2, they grow lungs for breathing air. Again, we're starting to see the frogs turn into tadpoles. 3, they grow legs for hopping and swimming. Again, this is like a young tadpole. It's a monkey frog tadpole, and it's still got its tail, but it's forming its legs. And then 4, in 3 months, they lose their tail. Now, this is a bullfrog. There's a little bit of a tail, it looks like, but he's a full-grown frog. All right, so this is the picture that I really wanted us to take a look at. Toads are frogs too. So what is the difference between toads and frogs? Toads are a type of frog. Frogs spend most of their lives around water. Toads spend more time on dry land. Their bodies are built for where they live. Now, what I love about this image and why it's so important to look at the images in nonfiction text is this is actually a diagram. But what's different about this diagram is it's pointing to the different parts of a frog and toad, but it's also telling you a little bit about that part. So for example, some frogs are poisonous, so it's pointing to their colorful skin. There's teeth in the upper jaw. Let's look at the legs. Long, powerful, jumping legs. Most frogs have webbed hind feet, so you can kind of see their webbed feet. But if you look over here at the toad, it's telling you some of the differences. So for example, a toad has no teeth. The eyes do not bulge out from the body. A poison gland is located behind each eye. And then a toad's skin is dry and bumpy. So not only are these images showing you the dry and bumpy, but they're also telling you the differences as well.
Bumpy.
All right, super frog. So two-face faker. So it looks like that frog has 2 different faces. High flyer, whoosh! Any frog can jump, but watch me glide, so this frog can glide. The screamer, look at this picture. Those frogs have their mouths open up wide, and it looks like they are screaming. And this one, the invisible. He is a master of disguise. In this image, you can kind of see the frog just a little bit, but he is hiding. So again, this image supports the text.
Great job, boys and girls, going over how images support a text. So the next time that you read a book, I want you to pay a special close attention to those illustrations and photographs and look at the text and see if what's happening in the text is matching the picture that you see. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Bye!